Have you ever wondered why desire can feel alive and distant at the same time? Why one season of life feels vibrant while another feels silent? And why so many women quietly question themselves when their libido changes without warning? This question matters because sexual desire is not a simple switch, and yet society often treats it as a measure of normality, worth, or relationship success. In reality, desire moves with the rhythms of stress, hormones, health, emotion, history, and safety, and understanding this movement is the first step towards clarity rather than confusion. Many women experience moments where interest fades, returns, reshapes, or pauses altogether, and this does not automatically signal that something is broken. Normal fluctuations are part of being human, part of responding to life as it truly is rather than as it is expected to be. Psychosexual medicine reminds us that the body and mind speak together, and listening carefully is more useful than judging quickly. Yet there comes a quieter, more unsettling moment when the absence of desire lingers, not for days or weeks, but for months or even years, and begins to affect well-being, confidence, and connection. This is where uncertainty grows, where women start to ask whether what they are experiencing is still normal or something that deserves professional attention. Inspired by the thoughtful approach of Dr. Catherine Hood, Psychosexual Medicine, clinicians are encouraged to look beyond labels and towards patterns, persistence, and personal distress. Female sexual interest or arousal disorder, known as FSIAD, is not defined by a single symptom or a comparison to others, but by a consistent lack of interest or arousal that causes personal concern. Importantly, it is never diagnosed in isolation from context, meaning relationships, physical health, mental well-being, and life circumstances are all part of the picture. The suspense lies in a truth that is often missed, because the line between normal change and medical concern is not sharp or obvious. It is subtle, personal, and deeply individual. A woman may function well in every other area of life while quietly carrying distress about her sexuality, unsure whether she is allowed to take that concern seriously. Psychosexual medicine offers a framework where curiosity replaces blame and compassion replaces comparison. It asks not what is wrong with you, but what has happened to you and what your body may be responding to. Understanding this difference can feel unsettling at first because it challenges myths that desire should be constant or effortless. By beginning with knowledge rather than fear, women can start to see low libido not as a failure, but as information about needs, boundaries, health, and emotional safety. This perspective opens the door to informed choices, whether that means reassurance, lifestyle changes, or professional guidance. The journey starts here, with permission to ask questions, to pause self-criticism, and to recognize that understanding desire is an act of self-respect, not self-doubt. It invites reflection, patience, honesty, and courage, as women reclaim understanding of their evolving sexuality. Now that we have begun to recognize the complexity of sexual desire, it becomes essential to explore the layers beneath what we might first perceive as a simple lack of interest. Sexual well-being is intertwined with emotional intimacy, physical health, psychological safety, and societal pressures, and when any of these areas are disrupted, desire often diminishes. Yet understanding this is rarely straightforward, because the signals our bodies send are nuanced and sometimes contradictory. Some women notice a fading curiosity about sexual activity, while others may feel a lack of spontaneous arousal, and both experiences can coexist with feelings of shame or guilt. This is why the work of Dr. Catherine Hood, Psychosexual Medicine, is so vital. It frames low libido not as a personal flaw, but as a legitimate medical and psychological concern that deserves careful exploration. Clinicians in this field focus on observation and dialogue, using established diagnostic criteria for conditions such as female sexual interest arousal disorder, while always maintaining empathy and avoiding judgment. The goal is never to pathologize desire, but to illuminate patterns that may otherwise remain hidden, guiding women toward informed and compassionate self-understanding. In this space of careful reflection, suspense builds because the line between normal fluctuation and clinical concern can feel invisible. How does one know when to seek help and when to simply observe, adjust, or accept? The uncertainty can weigh heavily because sexual desire is not merely physical. It carries meaning, identity, and connection. Women may worry that seeking professional support is an admission of weakness or inadequacy, but psychosexual medicine reframes this pursuit as empowerment. By evaluating emotional satisfaction, frequency of interest, response to intimacy, and personal distress, clinicians are able to differentiate between ordinary changes and persistent conditions like FSIAD. The process is subtle. It involves listening to the body, tracking patterns over time, reflecting on relational dynamics, and considering broader life stressors. This deliberate attention creates clarity from confusion, allowing women to make conscious choices rather than react to anxiety or cultural expectation. Equally important is the recognition that persistent low desire is never a measure of personal failure. Women are often conditioned to feel responsible for maintaining desire in the face of exhaustion, stress, illness, or emotional upheaval, and yet this expectation is both unrealistic and harmful. Psychosexual medicine encourages reframing. Desire is a response, not a demand. It is shaped by context, not solely by willpower. When women learn to observe their experience without judgment, the pressure lifts and insight emerges. Practical strategies can then be applied, ranging from medical evaluation for hormonal or physiological factors to communication strategies with partners, to cognitive approaches that address internalized shame or anxiety. At every step, the emphasis is on empowerment, informed decision-making, and holistic care. In embracing this perspective, women are invited to step into a space where curiosity, courage, and knowledge replace confusion and blame, where understanding desire becomes an act of self-compassion, and where early engagement with professional support can lead to meaningful improvement in sexual well-being and overall life satisfaction. This nuanced understanding, inspired by Dr. Catherine Hood, Psychosexual Medicine, demonstrates that knowledge, reflection, and guided care are not luxuries, but essential tools for reclaiming confidence, intimacy, and a sense of agency over one's own sexual life. Having explored the patterns and subtleties of sexual desire, we arrive at a deeper understanding of why knowledge and self-awareness are essential. Low libido, especially when persistent, can feel isolating, as though one is navigating a private world of uncertainty, silently questioning what is normal, and fearing judgment from oneself or others. Yet the reality is that women are not alone in this experience, and recognizing the universality of change is the first step toward reclaiming control and agency. Dr. Catherine Hood, Psychosexual Medicine, reminds us that professional guidance exists not to criticize, but to illuminate, clarify, and support. By providing evidence-based insight, personalized assessment, and compassionate dialogue, psychosexual medicine offers women the tools to distinguish between ordinary life fluctuations in desire and clinically significant conditions such as female sexual interest/arousal disorder. This distinction matters because it shifts the conversation from blame to understanding, from confusion to clarity, and from self-criticism to informed action. Suspense builds in this journey because confronting low sexual desire often involves confronting vulnerability. Women must navigate personal history, relational dynamics, emotional well-being, and physical health simultaneously, and the interplay of these factors is rarely linear or predictable. There may be moments of hope when desire returns temporarily, only to recede again, creating uncertainty and sometimes frustration. Yet this tension is a critical part of the process because it teaches patience, attentiveness, and self-compassion. Psychosexual medicine emphasizes that observation and reflection are as important as intervention. Keeping track of patterns, emotions, and triggers allows women to understand their sexuality not as a static measure of worth, but as a living, responsive aspect of themselves. This approach also helps reduce internalized shame, which is often the most damaging barrier to seeking help or embracing change. By reframing desire as information rather than judgment, women gain a perspective that is both liberating and empowering. Ultimately, understanding low libido is an invitation to reclaim agency and cultivate a deeper relationship with oneself. It is not about achieving constant desire or meeting societal expectations, but about recognizing signals, understanding context, and choosing actions that promote well-being. This may involve professional consultation, lifestyle adjustments, relational conversations, or cognitive exploration. But at its core, it is about informed, compassionate decision-making. Women who engage with psychosexual medicine find that empowerment comes from knowledge, that clarity replaces confusion, and that patience and reflection open doors to intimacy that is authentic rather than pressured. By integrating these principles, inspired by Dr. Catherine Hood, Psychosexual Medicine, women learn to honor their experiences, validate their emotions, and navigate their sexuality with confidence and insight. Sexual desire, in all its complexity, becomes not a source of anxiety, but a source of self-awareness and agency, enabling women to live fully and intentionally in every aspect of their lives. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.